Hello, everyone. We are back again. Surprise. We didn't plan this until yesterday. We didn't know we would be here, and I'm sure neither did you, but nevertheless, we are glad to be back. I'm happy to be back in my normal facial hair and not in Pepto-Bismol pink facial hair.
It was
Um,
impressive.
it was something that acrylic paint took a minute to get off. But Stephen, I'm so glad to be chatting with you again.
Thank you for being patient with me because I know I'm 2 weeks late to the episode,
Stephen,
but
it's both of us. We alternate being super unavailable. It's fine.
there we go. But I'm not gonna lie, Drew, and I put this in our season 6 chat. I really went into this episode thinking that I was gonna see redemption. I was like, oh, this is an immunity challenge. Oh, this is not redemption. Oh, someone's gonna be sad.
Stephen, we
That's
all
not who I
thought
thought it
that.
was.
I was ready. I mean, obviously, I knew that one more person was going to be eliminated before redemption, but I thought we were going to get a redemption return before the break. So imagine my surprise when I find out all of my deep dives are going to have to be postponed.
Yeah, yeah, it you how this is. I think whenever you come into a season and you've been able to watch or see the previous season, you always think that your current season is going to be a reaction to the last season, right? And so, like, when I played like Victory House Mole season 3, people walked in saying, "We're pretty darn sure the mole's likely going to be a guy because it's been a woman the past 2 seasons." Right?
Right.
Or like in this season, Bloomington, the merge happened really late. It'll probably happen earlier this season. And I think if you rolled in a game like Survival Challenge that mindset, you'd actually be in good stead, right? Because the Survival Challenge does change things up and does react to the previous season. Here in Bloomington, though, players are very sad to say, oh, they went long and hard last season pre-merge, and we're doing the same here.
Yeah. Casey told us before season 6 started, he said this is going to be the toughest pre-merge I've ever done, and indeed it was. This season may put up a good fight against season 6 for a tough pre-merge. This is a long pre-merge. I mean,
Well,
more than half of your players cut in pre-merge is crazy.
the season 6 pre-merge has a bit of acceleration because we have the 3 tribes, 3 tribal councils, three
Yeah.
tribes, 2 tribal councils. That really accelerate things. And you saw in this season, was it only only one of the votes in the second round of swaps? No. So you had
We had there were 2 doubles.
Yeah, there were 2 doubles.
And then the second swap happened, and there was one more double, I think.
Yeah, both tribes did send someone home.
Because wasn't yeah, correct.
It's all a blur. Quick.
There were three doubles, whereas in season 6 there was a triple and a double.
Yeah. Okay. I'm like immediately regretting not having your spreadsheet up that shows the order of events. I'm like, oh, it has been a minute, and oh no, it's showing.
It is. But we are super excited to be talking about this episode. I just rewatched it today. Stephen, I believe, watched it yesterday for the first time.
Yep.
So it is fresh on our minds and we're ready to go. Let's jump straight into this challenge. We're coming into this challenge with 4 people remaining on the blue tribe and 6 people remaining on red. It's basically 5 red and Eric, and then 4 blue on the other side. And we do, in fact, get it confirmed to us at the end of this challenge that Eric is still very much with blue. Real quick, Stephen, talk us through this challenge a little bit.
So the challenge is multi-part, and so remind me, the 2 players sitting out for red, we have Drew and we have Eric, right?
Eric is sitting out. I wasn't sure on Drew because we never got to see for 100% sure who was on the puzzle for red. It had to be Savannah or Drew because Eric was sitting out and everybody else had a spot. So it had to be Savannah or Drew on the puzzle.
Yeah. And so I think we see it. I felt like we got a shot of like, I don't know.
I was probably writing when that came up, so I don't know. But yeah, we get Britt versus May, Jacob versus Taylor, Mariah versus Joelle, and Maggie versus either Savannah or Drew.
4 players for each tribe, 4 different slots. There is a grappling hook for the player 1. There is a toss the ball for player 2. right?
Yep. To knock the blocks off the table.
Yeah. Okay. Which impressive Taylor shoot through that fast. I would suck at that. Third person had to input a combination. I believe there were 24 possible combinations with the 4 unique numbers to churn through. And I think the hardest part, let it be known, is knowing how to work the lock. So clearly, Joel hasn't done a lot of escape rooms. Otherwise, he would know exactly how to work that lock.
Listen, Joel said if this was a locker room, he would have been fine.
Well, yeah, it's just the right, left, right, twisty one. But like, generally, I've seen a lot of different kinds of locks doing escape rooms. You kind of figure out like, all right, how's this thing work? So it's unknown whether he got the right combination, but it just didn't do it correct or what.
Oh, the lighting's not. I wrote Joel flop.
And then everyone's like, "Did you throw that challenge?" Like, and then Then the last part is a Survivor logo puzzle, but not too terrible of a one. I don't know how long it took Maggie to do that, but she seemed to do it like pretty handedly.
Zero memory of this challenge. I must have been elsewhere
because it's the end of day 3. It's all blur.
Yeah, the end of day 3 is when I started being mentally unwell and only sleeping like 4 hours a night, trying to keep up with everything on prod caught up to me. So yeah, I will see that, especially with like final 7 through final 5. I'm like I will have no memory of anything. Because that morning I was just like, no, I'm staying at Casey's house and sleeping for 4 or 5 more hours. I'm not coming in this morning.
I was just finishing my first production run. Yeah, I like I definitely got more sleep than other people, but man, like poor Jareth, who came down from Vancouver, is getting like 4 hours a night. And he was like, well, time changed. I'm like, but no, I just think he wasn't sleeping and like doing all the things.
Yeah. Very great moment for Maggie here with this puzzle.
And we have a wonderful celebration with her. Like, you know, it's a big emotional moment for her. The entire tribe rushes in, and Eric. And like I was thinking making a GIF of that moment where everyone's together, but Eric's not really hugging her. Eric is like furiously whispering to them as well.
Yeah, we have a lot to talk about with Eric this episode, obviously, but something that I want to talk about, if you're Eric, you're on this tribe and you're Eric, why would you throw the challenge unless you have 5 or 6 keys? And they talk about this. It's just like, unless you have 5 or 6 keys or an idol, if you're Eric, why do you throw this challenge? If I'm anybody else on the tribe, I'm like, heck yeah, let's put Eric in. I know he's going to try.
I mean, oh man. It's a hard ask to even want me to throw a challenge, even if I have guaranteed safety. It's right. I can use an idol now, or I can save it for later. Oh, granted, if this is becoming tribe v tribe, this is a great time to then use your idol because you are knocking out someone or something like that. So,
but at the time, Eric only had 2 keys?
He has 1 key, and so therefore, like, why would he ever throw?
Yeah. I mean, but obviously, if I'm, Savannah, Joel, etc., I'm like, do I believe that Eric only has 1 key and that he'll try? No, he's going to try and pull something. So, like, I get it. It's just like, if I'm Eric, I'm not throwing.
Yeah. So it felt amusing that they sat him out of that challenge, where I'm just like, man, I think he's the most motivated of anyone to do well in this.
Unfortunately, he does not, because he doesn't participate, and the Blue Tribe ends up winning, mostly from what we're shown because of the combination lock from Joel, which is fine. Again, 24 combinations, you can only guess so quickly, and a lot of it is luck, I guess, kind of. I mean, it's a 1 in 24 shot every time you try, and then each one you knock out, it decreases.
Yeah, the problem is, like, you don't... You duplicate, or you miss one, and it's the one that matters, or you don't know how to read a lock. Something like that can
be. So many ways it can go wrong, and unfortunately for Joel, that's what happens.
So we have a comment from Savannah saying, "Hey, even prior to the challenge, Eric talked with someone from the other tribe and put something in his bag, right? So there's already like a little like concern regarding that. And then if you weren't concerned, you were very concerned when he rushes over, talks to them. You see the blue get 2 keys from Maggie's advantage, which was that Maggie's, or did someone hand that to Maggie for the 2 keys for winning a puzzle? I don't recall.
I believe that was Maggie's question mark. Casey, help.
Yeah, so it's like I can't remember who owned that, or it was like, because didn't Eric also have like if you win a challenge you get a thing?
I truthfully, Steven, I don't know. I'm gonna have to go back and rewatch seasons 6 and 7 and keep track of advantages. Because
Okay.
that's what I haven't done.
Oh,
Keys,
yes.
advantages. I'll add that to my list. Confessional time tracker, keys, advantages. Everything else, I think we're pretty okay on.
Yeah. Well, I've been like following this episode. Eric is in 5th place for most keys used. He knocks out Brady, who only used like 5 keys. Eric is now at 6 keys used in the season. But beyond that, it's really blatant what Eric does. It's clear he's getting at least those 2 keys, if not more. But can you blame him?
Nope. I have a soapbox to go on.
Soapbox
/ apology tour.
Ooh.
Eric, I am sorry for doubting you. Because let me tell you, the first 2-3 episodes of the season, I was not an Eric fan. I was begging to break through the character and get to the player and the person. And indeed we have. Eric is playing. We're getting to see personal content. Dare I say Eric is serving. This episode, along with the last 2-3, Eric has been my favorite player to watch. And of course it's fun to root for underdogs, we all know, but it's Eric's a fun, on top of being an underdog, Eric's been fun. He's sassy, he's funny, he's creative, he's a good player. So Eric, to you, I apologize for ever doubting you. I shouldn't have. Will I doubt people in the future? Absolutely. But Eric specifically, good job. Good job.
All it took, Eric, was your suffering and being targeted relentlessly to do it. So thank you for your sacrifice.
Exactly. Thank you for your service, Eric. If nothing else, you've provided me with a good time.
And Eric is all about people having fun. So if he's making our life as viewers fun, I think that's a win.
Exactly. It's a win. He may have lost the challenge by not participating, but he won my heart. And that's what really matters in Surviving Bloomington.
I mean, so I want to say, we've been talking about this all season, the funneling of advantages from one team to another. And I don't think we've really seen it until this moment it actually really occur, correct?
Mm-hmm. Correct. I think, yeah.
Yeah. And it's kind of amusing when you hear the Blue Tribe saying we have 1 key between the 4 of us now and an extra vote. It's just how much has been burned over the course of the game. That said, I don't know if Savannah, May, Joelle, Drew, and did I hit everyone right there?
Taylor.
Sorry, Taylor. I can't imagine those 5 could have done anything or to make Eric feel more confident that he wasn't going home immediately, or there's ways that could have reassured him. I think it's
I think at this point the best they can do is if 2 of them, we know Eric feels closer to Savannah and Drew, right, than the others.
Yeah.
If Savannah and Drew go to Eric and they're like, hey, we're 100% ready to flip and work with you.
Yeah.
As if we can work together and combine keys to get an extra vote, we can take one of them out 4-3, and then they just don't follow through and take Eric out. That's the most that they could have done.
No, you can go one even further. This is all elaborate and probably wouldn't work out, but
yeah,
you have Joel and Taylor and May come to him. Pitch a plan. We're taking Savannah or Drew. You have Drew, Savannah. Let's throw May in as well. Come in, say, pitch a plan. We're taking out Taylor. Then him and May and say, we're in the middle. We have decisions here. What do you want to do? And you just need to play that up. But that requires a lot of work and effort and requires a lot of coordination beforehand to make something like that occur.
Yep.
Even then, I think Eric may still be worried enough that he still goes like, hey, I could do this, but I'm just going to get keys and be safe.
I will also say, I think that this specific day, day 3 in particular, was very stacked against the players. Casey, this is nothing against Casey.
Woke up and decided people should
This is
suffer.
factual information. Draw your own conclusions. If you want to point arrows at Casey, feel free. At the start of each day, Casey gave us a schedule. We knew nothing about format before the season started. Nobody on production knew anything before the season started. And so at the start of each day, we were given kind of a docket for the day. Day 3's docket was very full. You hear someone say in the episode, I don't remember who, saying like, we don't have a lot of time this round. I think this round specifically, the players were very pressed for time.
Because you need the film before it gets dark.
Yeah, they maybe had spoiler alert, the Redemption Island stuff filmed that evening. And we wanted to film Redemption in the dark, but we wanted to get everything else done before dark. And so this particular round, I remember pitching a bit of a fit. Dallas got to see a lot of it because players were coming to me and other like tribe handlers, camera people. I remember Stacy as well got a lot of players coming to her about like, yo, stop rushing us. We don't have time to do what we need to do right now. This round, the players had like 20, 30 minutes to strategize, which is not a lot for this length of game. And that's because of production not organizing the rest of the day well. That's on me. That's on everybody.
I mean,
learning experience, and we are better.
I don't think that's fully on production. I think as a player, you have to kind of roll with the punches. I mean, and you have to make the most of the time. Given it's hard, like you played survival challenge, you lose. Like congratulations, you have 5 minutes for going to tribal council. I hope you have your ducks in a row, right? And like I do agree. Like as a reduction member, it's like time is hard to manage, and everything it takes longer than you expect. And I mean, you played real foot. There's a joke that you're on real foot time. Like, when's the next thing happening? Who knows? you just kind of roll with it, right? It's hard, and so like I yes, I think you as production, like ideally we want to do this, but it's hard to meet those expectations. And if anything,
and it's not. It's a learning experience. The more that the franchise expands, the better we'll get at stuff like that. This season coming up, we're being really intentional about like you specifically are in charge of the schedule. Please don't let us get off schedule. Be loud. So it's a learning experience. I just know that this round in particular, players didn't have very much time.
I mean,
so unfortunately, obviously,
one minor thing, right?
Yeah, in the end, it worked out for Eric, but it's like if Eric did not have keys, I would be not thrilled if I was Eric.
I mean, they had time today because the Blue Tribe went to Tribal Council several times in a row, right? They had time,
and they spent it talking about life, which is great,
is awesome, right? Which is what we're here for. What we're here for, to meet people, to have experiences, to learn things. Like I think that's a huge thing, and you don't want to strategize. You don't want to strategize unnecessarily, right? You don't want to do things that are destruct your game because you have time. So I get it, but like, I don't know. Had they known they were going to go to tribal council later, maybe they would have used the time earlier differently.
Correct. And I'm giving this information for context. It's not on Casey, it's not on production, and it's certainly not on the players that the round and the day went how it did. It's just like, I think for this round they had 20, maybe 30 minutes to strategize. There's another round coming up where players were super rushed because of an extracurricular thing that happened that we'll get into when we get there. But pull up that comment from Savannah, because I 100% agree. He still would have played his keys. He would have. And I know that you guys are smart enough to have thought of that 100%. I'm not saying you guys didn't think of it. I'm just throwing it out there as like, what could they have done as an option?
It was kind of like
you guys played it better than that, I think. But
it's kind of like Daylight Dollar Show. He's already gone over the other side. He's already gotten the keys. He's primed, ready to go. And again, 4 keys, 2/3 shot at safety. Hard to say no.
Yeah,
Especially when they're not yours.
Savannah, I think that you specifically played this round almost. No, I don't think you had any flaws in how you played this round, actually.
I mean, the question is, did Savannah want Drew to go? That's the ultimate question.
We will get there in a second because I have tea on that. Let's talk about blue. Unless there's anything about the challenge or the key exchange to Eric.
No, I think we talked about it a lot.
Cool. Let's talk about blue. So we jump straight into Mariah. Mariah's found an advantage, which is if she wins an individual immunity, she can turn in the parchment for 2 keys. Love to see it. She can easily give it to somebody else if she wants to.
Question.
Yeah, I already know what you're going to ask, but ask it, Steven.
What am I going to ask?
Well, let me be quiet. I thought you were going to ask if it can be played retroactively. Like, okay, go on.
We've had plenty of those conversations before, not this time. In our season, did players get keys when they weren't one individual immunity?
There was one. So there was a point in time where I had a parchment. I don't remember what it was. Rachel had a parchment that was if you win individual immunity, get a key. Rachel and I swapped. And
No, not even that. Like, as part of winning individual immunity, do you get a key? Did that happen in all our
Not
seasons?
just as part of winning individual immunity, but there was an if you win an individual immunity.
Yeah, there was that advantage. Okay.
Yeah. Because Rachel and I swapped. Because I was like, Rachel, I already won one. Just swap with me, and I'll get a key, and then you can do this by voting wrong, and we both got keys.
Okay, gotcha. Just to clarify, because like I'm mixing up all the different games. I know other games sometimes like you win, you get the currency, whatever. All right. Individual immunity is going to matter a lot. But especially if Mariah and Eric both have the same advantage of when individual immunity get keys, that 4 keys is an extra vote, and extra votes may matter.
I want to talk about Mariah for a second. She's been pretty quiet in the edit. We've seen her be a really strong, not like second in command, but like it seems like she's connected to everybody as like their second, if that makes sense.
That's a good place to be.
Jacob said, or wait, was it Jacob? I think it was Jacob. Correct me if I'm wrong, Stephen. Someone on Blue says, I think if we had to go to tribal council again, Mariah would have volunteered to go out. There is not a chance that lady is stepping down.
Brittany said that, I believe.
Brittany is delusional because that's not going to happen. Mariah's not doing that. Mariah is playing such a great social game where other people are actively thinking she'll step down for me. No shot Mariah's doing that. I thought that was very fun. And I love that Mariah has this advantage. Jacob still says Mariah is his number 2. Mariah's thriving.
Mm-hmm. No, I think she's in a very good spot. Yeah. And had they lost again, I don't think she's going anywhere. Well, I don't think she or Jacob are going anywhere. I think it's Brittany and Eleanor fighting for them.
Yeah, it seems like this group is starting to kind of center around Mariah and Jacob, and they don't like May. They're not feeling May too much.
It was interesting because, like, this is Mariah talks a lot about the Circle Festival that May, who must have been in the challenge, right, to do this, like did a full walk around the table to try to see the digits. Now I don't know how Casey coded those locks. I have to imagine that both blocks had different numbers on them, so you couldn't just like copy them. I assume they were in Survivor finale. They were different. So like I feel like cheating in a Survivor is a well-loved practice, but there's like cheating and there's cheating. Where it's one thing like how glance over at someone's puzzle right by you. It's a whole other thing to like maybe take a lap to see like what's going on there. So like I can't fault May, but I can also agree with Mariah being annoyed.
Yeah, I would also be annoyed, but if it wasn't, well, again, this specific cast was very like rules. Like if it's not stated in the rules, I can do it. And if I get in trouble for doing it, why didn't you say it in the rules? So I understand going to look at the answer. I mean, we've seen in CBS Survivor where people do that in challenges, right? Where people look at each other's puzzles.
Mm.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. But like, yeah. And like, CBS Survivor can always change that by putting screens up between the players. But like, to be fair, again, you watch the season finale, everyone's looking at Camila's fire puzzle and no one's able to solve it anyways. So like,
CBS Survivor, I would like to fight you on stream. This poster needs to come down and be replaced with Bloomington, because what the leaked Survivor 50 cast, sorry, I'm not going to get into it right now, but Survivor casting, what are we doing?
It's old school versus new school, right? That's how they're going to say. I think it's 2 times.
Well, they could have picked better options for both. Why are we cutting Amanda Kimmel? Sorry. Okay. Blue Tribe. It seems like they're kind of all rallying behind the idea of like, okay, when we merge, we're going to try and pull Eric over. We'll feel him out. If we need to, we can even throw him a fake name to see if he votes the way we tell him to. But they seem to kind of be converging behind, we should target May because we're not liking her.
It's so surprising. Like I guess I can see why you'd be skeptical about Eric coming back over to you, and maybe we have the privilege of seeing Eric being gunned by the other side. And to be fair, Eric going and saying, "I just copped 4 of the 6 votes, 4 of the 5 votes." People's like, yeah, I think that, I think you're with us. So
yeah. I have the phrase written down. Jacob is unwell but sympathetic. Jacob is not happy that Eleanor volunteered to go, but also he understands and he appreciates it. But he's also like kind of doing the math of like, okay, this is not great for me. She was one of the people I was closer with. She was one of my earlier bonds. Don't love that she's gone, but also do love that she volunteered so we don't actually have to do anything.
Yeah.
We talked about this last time, Steven. If one of your, not your closest ally, but like your second closest ally in a game is like, I'll go so y'all don't have to worry about it. How are you feeling?
Not good.
Yeah, not great.
not something I want to have happen. It's Survivor Pennsylvania. They have the swap, and a player essentially asked to get voted out. And it caused a whole domino effects that essentially caused an entire tribe to get decimated over the course of the game, all because of when and how this player asked to leave the game. And just like, holy smokes, there are repercussions here.
Yeah, don't love that. We get some footage, Steven, of people practicing and learning how to make fire. Suspicious.
I don't think. I think they're like they want like you're. I don't know if this is practicing for the sake of practicing. This is like we need to make a fire. Let's get it going.
Well, but also Brittany says, "Thank you for teaching me." Hi, Jacob Barklow Rogers. Nice to see you here.
I mean, I would need someone to teach me. Have you ever made a fire, Drew?
I around like final 6 of Bloomington 6, the round that the like coins were hidden in the woods or whatever, where I was like, I'm going out and lied to everybody about how many keys I was gonna play. The entire round, I said I'm staying in main camp and practicing fire for later because I'm making it through this round because I'm playing keys. So that whole round I practiced fire. I have over here my little Survivor shelf, and I have my machete and my flint and steel that I practiced.
Oh
wow! Before my first ever game, before Real Foot, I practiced.
Yeah, I've only made sparks. So Jacob's saying that he talked Brittany through making fire, but she did it all herself. So I don't think this is like this is an illusion that Brittany's gonna be in Final 4 fire making. I don't. Who knows?
Steven, let me throw out false leads.
I mean, I will. I'll just say it now. I think if you look at how Casey edits people's eliminations, I think that some are edited with like a big farewell to a player, as in they are coming back from redemption, right? So, like for instance, like Zach, Allison, Drew. Casey is really like tugging on your heartstrings with like how he's portraying and like showing all this flashback footage to moments of these players. I don't think he'd do that if the player's going to win their way back to redemption. That's my pet theory, by the way, in terms
I
of
love that that's what you think. I love a brain.
I mean, I don't know, man. But it's just like that. It's just this could be like, I know CBS are like such and such may fire. It means they're being the Final Four fire ranking challenge. I don't know if Casey's doing that level of like foreshadowing, but this could be foreshadowing. Who's to say?
Casey, basically, Steven is saying, I don't think Casey's good enough. That's what I heard.
I just don't think this is like something worth like. I don't know.
I think my brain is still in Drag Race podcasts, and so I'm just being shady for no reason today. Another thing, very interesting. Brittany says, I asked the question because I love making mess. I asked the question. I just love making mess. If you guys lost another challenge and stayed in the same teams, what happens? And Brittany says, I'm okay with going because I can win redemption.
Okay. See, here's Casey saying, I like showing people like fire because it's badass. See, that I think is like that's where I'm at. It's like, it's cool. You don't get to see it very often, and it's impressive because I certainly can't do it. Put me in fire for drag me the Final Four.
Weren't you supposed to be talking last year? Casey knows what he's doing with the edit. And of course, I have to sometimes throw out false leads, and I have to sometimes throw out true leads that people believe are false.
And it doesn't matter because you can't remember what happened anyways.
Oh, Steven, I'm being so serious. Final 7 to like Final 4, not a clue. But yeah, Brittany says that she's okay with going out next because I don't remember if he said this or if they just kind of pieced together based on what happened last season, where the more money you raised in the fundraiser, the more tries you get or more advantages you get in redemption. I don't remember if that was explicit.
I think it was explicit in our season.
Casey, step in and help us. It was explicit on our season. I don't know if it was explicit on this season that the more money you raise, the more help you get.
Explicit that like, hey, the fundraising affects your redemption chance.
I'm pretty confident that's correct. I don't know the specifics though. Also, yeah, Lydia is talking about with like Zach, Allison, and Drew. It's like a swan song. We'll see if that's correct. If any of them come back.
And Savannah is saying like it was disclosed ahead of time that fundraising did directly affect your redemption chance.
Oh, it's so nice that I can pull up comments now too.
Drew doesn't need anymore.
There were no specifics. There were no specifics about what it would entail, but players were told like, yeah, the more money you raise, the more help you'll get on redemption. And so Brittany's confident.
Confusing is like you need a 30-minute video on YouTube to walk you through the game. They're like, maybe I can play it now, and then you go sit down and play with the rule book in front of you, constantly flipping pages.
Steven, what's the most confusing board game you've ever played?
So I'm not a board game connoisseur.
That's crazy.
I like board games. Like I don't like you see people have like towers of board games. I certainly am not that. I need more friends to play board games. That's the real thing.
Wait, okay, Steven, we'll talk after. Sorry.
Drew has a solution to this. Was it Rising Sun? I think was the game, or was it? I'm thinking the other game, Prey. I don't know. My brother loves it because you can 3v. It's like 1v3, and he likes being the one and beating us all and then gloating.
Nice. Wingspan, the board game Wingspan is just beyond my mental capabilities. I love board games. Wingspan.
I've played it online, which I think helps a lot because it's a lot of things you don't have to worry about.
Yeah, my brain doesn't work like that. But continuing on.
You're not an engine builder kind of guy.
No, I'm not an engine builder. Okay. Give me deck building. Engine building? No. Yeah, Mackenzie, of course you do.
Mackenzie's going to come for you. She loves Wingspan.
Mackenzie's a big board gamer, though. That makes sense. And I assume online it would be significantly easier.
Well, it's like, Risk in person, terrible. Risk on the computer, not as bad, because at least you're not having to put the pieces everywhere.
Exactly.
It's like, especially when you're like 20th set of development cards or whatever, and you're like redeeming for 100 armies. Madness.
It's like the opposite of Mousetrap. The only good thing about Mousetrap is physically building the contraption. Everything else is awful.
Drew, you sound like you've been scarred by board games. That's all I can say.
No, I love board games. I have multiple board game shelves in my living room.
Just no more Mousetrap.
But let's get back to the Blue Tribe. Stephen, any other like observations, thoughts? I mean, after this, we're done talking about Blue Tribe for a couple months, unless there's something else we want to say.
A couple months?
A couple months till fall.
Wait, is that when we're getting the next set of episodes?
Fall.
Oh, this is news to me. Okay. Did not know that.
Well, you're going to find out in this podcast anyway. We have a preview video later that says the episodes will resume in fall, which is very fun because it means the season 8 players, no, that's not, no. The season 8 players won't get to watch the end of season 7 before they play.
Darn. They'll survive somehow. Well, I guess I'll have to fondly think of this group of 4, and that likely merges at 9, probably, maybe.
Merge is at 9. That's not a spoiler. We're going into merge next, but okay, yeah, Blue. I think we're pretty confident, set up well, dynamically with what's going on Blue. Stephen, who on the Blue Tribe, the current Blue Tribe, ends up with the highest overall placement? Whether it be a winner, whether it be a 10th place eventually.
I mean, so I think the problem is that we don't know who comes back from Redemption. That's going to really shape how the merge plays out if it is tribe v tribe. That said, do you have any idea how many keys the red team has? The original red players have? Because I don't know. I mean, we know the blue side has an extra vote. It's gonna get played.
So May just got Drew's key.
Yeah.
Savannah has
and down a key.
Savannah
May has
Taylor
2.
Taylor has 2. I think May has 1 or 0. Savannah has Trace's key plus her own. Eric has 0. I think Joelle only has 1. Hey, Drew.
There's like 7 keys.
They have like, if you discount Eric, if you don't count Eric, they probably have like between 5 and 7.
Yeah, so like likely both sides can get an extra vote, and so I think it comes down to who is the Redemption player going to be more friendly with.
Okay.
Or do you simply see a season 6 bust Matt in the rain? We'll see.
I think the difference between this and season 6 is with season 6, by the time merge hit, everybody was so like mushed together that there weren't really clear sides. And it ended up being like a conglomerate slowly picking off people who were outside of it until like final 4 or 5.
I still think the merge was still dominated by the chaos players.
Yeah, but we weren't a chaos-dominant alliance. The core alliance at the merge was me, Mackenzie, Rachel, John, Tyler. Like, it was a 3-2. It wasn't like chaos came back together, because Danny and I certainly weren't working together at merge. Tyler and I eventually were not working together very clearly, and I kind of was like, we're done with Brady. Which I regret. I regret that. That's my only regret from the game. But anyway.
Only regret.
It is. If the game had been made better, I would have won.
I'm sure you tell Casey that every day. You'd be like, Casey, if it wasn't for you, I'd win the game.
Casey's visiting me in 2 weeks, and the first thing that's happening when he walks through the door. Oh. Let's talk about
remind me to be careful whenever I go visits.
Let's talk about the Red Tribe a little bit. Eric immediately jumps in on the walk sort of into camp being like, guys, sorry, like, I really didn't have an option other than to go talk to the blue people, but like, sorry you guys had to like be there, I guess. He's like half apologizing.
I mean, I think if Eric could have done things in a more subtle way, he would have, but he couldn't.
Yeah. I mean, but how else are you going to do it?
You know, the subtle, like, you know, you hug someone. The true terms of usually hug someone. There's the discreet hand pass. Not the let me run over immediately.
Yeah. I think in season 6, did we have anything like that? I mean, Tyler and I passed off keys to Brady, but it was
Yeah.
very secretive. Um, you know what, Lydia? You're next.
I mean,
Um,
hold on.
yeah,
Like,
so me and
you
Tyler
know,
passed off
Lydia,
keys to
you have her out.
Brady.
You're gonna see her in August.
Rachel and I, so when we swapped into the 3 tribes, Yellow votes off Melanie. At the next challenge, Rachel and I were able to have like a pretty substantial conversation secretly during the challenge or like before the challenge. But otherwise, love this for Eric. Love a bold play. And he's half apologizing for it, and everybody else is gooped, gagged, impressed. They are not thrilled about this public key exchange.
I mean, how would like I would never be thrilled because you think someone has no advantage, suddenly they have an advantage again. And you're like, well, shoot, can't be a straightforward vote. Probably shouldn't have been a straightforward vote, anyways. But now you know for sure, like, there's a high chance one of us is going home.
Yeah,
1 in 6.
100%. Yeah, and it seems like they have like a group chat, but it seems like people are kind of individually coming to the conclusion of, well, let's just all vote Eric and hope that he goes out, and if not, we'll figure it out from there. I don't like that. That sounds uncertain.
It sounds like, on one hand, like, if it works, it's great because then no one's mad, no one's bloody. Everyone's like, yes, we are a 5, we're good, right? In the perfect world, right? And especially, let's say Eric has no keys, but as bluffing as he has 3 or 4, right? And if the original red players call the bluff, that's a huge game win right there.
Well, I mean, yeah, 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 essentially so. I mean, if Eric only had 1 key this round and was bluffing having enough, then he goes out here.
Yeah,
Probably. Unless he's like
probably.
low key it. Yeah. Um, we are kind of clued in on a Savannah May final 2.
We heard about this a little bit before in the previous episodes.
Yeah, we'd heard a little bit about it, but it's a little confusing because through the swaps we kind of get this like Savannah Drew and then May Joelle Taylor. And so it's nice to hear that we have this like established final 2. I think that Savannah and May are 2 very strong people physically, but also like emotionally and mentally very strong women. I would be terrified playing against them. Like this final 2 scares me. Love them. Hope to work with you guys in the future. But yeah, that's nice to be looped in on. We also get, I have written down, hold on, I'm going to do another close up.
This is how you take notes.
I do, yeah. Taylor is gaming. Taylor is gaming. She gets in this confessional and she's like, okay, here's where everything stands. Boop, 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 boop. It's like a hacker in those movies where they're like hitting all the keyboard buttons really fast. Like she has everything mapped out. She's ready to go. She understands the dynamics. Taylor's name is not being thrown out by anyone and has not been for the entire game. And she has these really good connections with people. Stephen, what did you think about Taylor?
What I appreciate about Taylor is she describes the discussion she has with Drew. She's like, I would like people to realize May is a threat because you kind of have this like May and Taylor are working with each other, but also kind of look at each other and say, yeah, you're gonna be a problem for me down the road. You have this very interesting kind of duo. It's like not now, but later. And so, she goes to Drew, there's the conversation, and she gets Drew to say, like, I think we maybe need to be concerned about Joelle. She's like, but is Joelle the biggest threat right now? and kind of gets through this to say the May's name afterwards, and she's like, yeah, no, I agree with that.
Yeah.
Without ever saying May's name herself, it's just like, I want you to say May's name. I'm just not going to put it. I refuse to say May's name because I know it's
Taylor
not get back to me.
Taylor is one of the best. I mean, under the radar is a word. or a phrase, I guess. Taylor's just really good at being the person who can get other people to enact plans that she wants enacted. And I love that. I think this is, I mean, this is not a Taylor episode by any means, but this is definitely a segment in the season where I'm like, okay, Taylor, I see what you're doing for this like 30 seconds, which makes me understand what you've been doing for the past 4 episodes. If that makes sense. Because we don't get a lot of Taylor.
I was going to say, like, one thing I thought this episode did a really good job with was really showing us a lot of Drew's on the ground game and what he was doing this round. Because one of the things I've been complaining about is like, yeah, I'm not quite sure where Drew's at or what he's thinking this episode. Like, oh, I'm really seeing it. Granted, we get the conclusion. I'm like, oh. It's like, well, easy come, easy go. But I really felt like I had a good sense of where Drew's head was at, who he was talking to, what's he trying to accomplish. So I appreciated that. So I thought, yes, we got more Drew than Taylor, but given how that episode went.
I think this episode was a really good episode to like retrospectively see all of Drew's groundwork. Which I really appreciate, because I don't think we got to see a lot of strategy from Drew. We've gotten to see some social, but not as much strategy. Taylor tells us in her confessional that the plan right now is going to be everybody vote Eric, and then we'll figure it out beyond that if we need to. A couple other people tell us, but I think Taylor's sort of the first to tell us about this. Like, this is what we've all agreed to do. Hopefully everybody sticks to it.
Which, I think the wildest thing was like, and maybe this is footage that Casey has, but he doesn't show because it kind of ruins the surprise of it all. But like, knowing that there's such a high chance you go on a revote, what that revote would have looked like, right? Yeah. I really thought we would hear more details regarding, like, all right, yes, if this goes 0, if all votes are null, where do we go from there? Versus it felt like
I have tea on that we'll get to when we get to tribal. Yeah.
Good, because I'm like, I don't think these players would leave it up in the air to just everyone just vote where their hearts take them at that point in time. That would be surprising.
Well, I do think it's interesting to point out the next bullet point that I have. Eric knows this is the plan. Like, of course he does. So he tells Drew, like, yeah, you should probably throw a vote on someone who isn't me. And Drew's like, appreciate the advice. Turns around, not doing that.
I mean, I think the question is, if Drew does throw a vote, who would he have ended up throwing it on? And that'd been interesting.
I don't think he would have voted Savannah.
I mean, the 2 names we hear him say are Joelle and May, so perhaps one of those 2.
Correct. But yeah, I mean, May gives Taylor a key for a power of mischief. That's what we get from Red. I mean, Stephen, any other big moments or important notes on Red?
So this was in the YouTube comments from Eric, that Drew gives a key to Eric as well, because Eric is going to play 4 safety keys.
Correct.
One he finds originally, 2 from the Blue Tribe. Then Drew gives him a gift of 1 key as well, which I think is really cool to see Drew do. And I wish maybe we'd seen that handoff or kind of figure out why that handoff occurs, especially when Drew does cast his vote for Eric.
See, true Drews are nice. He's a true Drew. His birth name is Drew.
Versus the
I'm an Andrew
among us.
Yeah, I'm an Andrew. So I just have like half of that nice gene. Unfortunately, I think Drew's nice gene may have resulted in his demise. But he's just a nice person. It's really sad to see that this is like what causes him to
Why do nice people play this game, Drew?
I don't know, Stephen. People like you and me, us mean people, are who are meant to be playing.
I'm glad I've been thrown in the mean camp immediately.
Let's talk about tribal. Anything super interesting for you during the questioning?
Let's see. My first note is Savannah's just so circumspect in terms of the answer she gives to Casey. I love what Joel said. He dubbed 6 keys as a key ring. Like I was like, ooh, that is a good kind of phrase to describe playing 6 keys at a time. Like here's a whole key ring.
There is one of the powers of mischief is called a key ring.
Oh, maybe there's some inception occurring. And by the
That
way,
like just clicked in my head.
Drew says he has a mean side too.
Okay, we'll see. When you add those 2 letters, we'll see.
I mean, maybe it comes out when he's being a judge.
Ooh, I hope not.
You know, I'm looking back at my notes here.
I don't have anything written down for the questioning.
You get a bit of a clearing of the air between Joel and Eric towards the end, where we've heard Eric say like, "I'm done with Joel. I'm done with Taylor. I'm going to throw my lot with these other players," and it's clearly gone back to Joel, and Joel's kind of calling them out for that, and you kind of get this kind of like, I feel like they kind of get on the same page in terms of where they're at. After that,
yeah, it's kind of that agreement of like, we know we're against each other and the bickering that we have is not that serious, but like in the moment it is that serious.
With the layer that we played a game before, we know each other and we're kind of friends as a result of the past year of our lives, and how do we reconcile all of this?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Steven, while I run to the restroom, can you talk to us about how this vote plays out?
Sure. I will go ahead and talk about how this vote plays out very slowly. So Eric goes out and he plays 4 safety keys. And I don't know if Casey does this on purpose, but the very last reveal of the 4 pieces of paper is the safe. So Eric will not be voted out here. As a result, votes are revealed, and we get 4 votes cast for Eric and no votes count. And on the final vote, Casey reveals, hey, this next person will be voted out. And Casey does something really interesting here. We actually kind of go to a segment from earlier in the day, or even the previous day, with him and Francis, where Drew talks about his son and his life and how he's changed as a result of his son's passing. Casey's asking, what are your thoughts you had in the moment of watching that? I was just so confused, like, why are we cutting the black? I honestly, like, I didn't want to look at the episode time, Casey, because I knew that would spoil if there's a revote or anything. But I was just like, is this where the episode ends? Am I not going to see who gets voted out until like the very next episode? And so as soon as it started showing Drew and like this moment with Drew and Francis, like, well, shoot, this seems like given like Lydia dubbed the swan songs of the previous players, I was like, oh, this is Drew's swan song, and this is where he's going out. And you get back and the votes for Drew, and he's voted out, and Casey forces him to hurry up and start bringing people.
As a viewer, when you get that 1 vote left, and like in the lead up, we're expecting it to be Eric. We're expecting Eric to be the last vote, and for like a revote thing to happen. And then we get this flashback to Drew and Francis, and my internal monologue, mind you, obviously I was spoiled, but like still in the moment, my internal monologue is like, no, you can't do this to me. You cannot do this to me. And then we come back to the present, and indeed the last vote is Drew. So a little bit of tea. As far as I'm aware, Joel, Taylor, and Savannah were looped in on May voting Drew before the vote.
Okay.
Which is why we don't see a lot of chatter about backup votes. It's because most of them knew going in Drew was going to get a vote. Now, were people happy about it? No, but it's also like, what is the other option? The option is I either have to be content with Drew getting a vote from May, or I have to risk my name being written down on a revote.
But I guess like the concern is, all right, like May's going to write down Drew. That means it provides assurance to the other allies that she isn't voting for them, and that they cast a stray vote, they can't go home. And if Drew casts a stray vote, they can't go home because there's a revote back on Drew. So it is good. It is an insurance policy, because I think that was the one thing I was wondering is like, if this was truly unknown, there would be fallout, but I don't think the fallout would be that big, given like, well, we have no choice. We're stuck as the 4 of us now.
Yeah. Well, and it's also like, let's say you're Joelle, Taylor, Savannah. Drew may or may not, of the 5 of you read, excluding Eric, Drew may or may not be your first priority to go. But even if he's not your first priority to go out of the 5, it's like, well, I either agree to this or I risk it being me. So which one am I more okay with?
Yeah. And, given it probably got back to May that Drew was kind of soft lobbing her name, perhaps, which we kind of saw. Drew's kind of going like, well, here's what I think about May. And so I think from May's perspective, this Drew might have been the person she was least connected with that we had seen. She's the final 2 with Savannah. She's in somewhat of a tight 3 with Taylor and Joelle. Mm-hmm. So I think it made sense that of the names, she throws that name.
Yeah, I agree. I think that May was able to zoom out a little bit and be like, okay, is my best move actually to vote for Eric, or is it to do something else? And I mean, we'll see how it plays out for her ultimately, but it looks like, from my perspective, knowing what we know, that she made a good call, unfortunately. Now, was I crying in the club when Drew got voted out? Yes. But I think for May, it was a good decision.
And a couple other minor things about this, though.
Yeah.
To confirm, Taylor does not buy the power of mischief because she forgets her key.
I don't remember, but we didn't see it, so I'm going to believe that it didn't happen.
That's what I thought was happening in the episode. I don't know. She has a little piece of paper at one point, but then she's like, I forgot my key. And I was like, I assume if she had bought it, we would have seen what she bought.
Yeah, I think that because we didn't see it, it didn't happen.
Okay. Oh, it's another thing. May also finds a key in the voting urn, which was probably the most fun discovery of keys so far. But she's shaking. It's like, wait a second, there's something in here. Which Eric had picked up the voting urn, so he too could have found it potentially had he shook it. I don't know if Casey's running out of hiding spaces for keys, but like you said, probably season 8, no hidden keys at Tribal Council for the sake of time and sanity.
It's giving John V. I think pretty regularly about the minute to minute and a half long footage of John V shaking out his shoes to try and find the key he lost. I should have put John V on Drag Race. Anyway.
Yeah, I will admit the only thing I did watch for the Drag Race is first I saw your beard. Second, I just looked at who the cast was.
It was cute. The winner ate. But yeah, I think this was a very sad tribal if you're a Drew fan, but a very happy tribal if you're an Eric fan. And unfortunately, I'm both. So it was a lot. Steven, what were your not emotions, I guess, but what are your feelings towards how the episode went? Same.
It was a surprising conclusion because when I saw there was another episode we were going to, and I was like, well, it's either Eric or a blue player. I thought a blue player was going home no matter what. And so the fact that Eric got the keys funneled to him, it made me wonder, could this have been Allison's fate? But imagine Allison plays keys, knocks out a blue, goes to Tribal Council yet again. Right, it's probably just won't have keys the second time around. This has been a hard four last rounds.
I know, right?
I think. I mean, granted, merge shouldn't be easy. It's not like CBS Survivor. It's 5 vote outs, whatever. We're all going to waltz our way to merge. It's like, no, you've gone through 9 tribal councils. And even very small tribes with nowhere to hide. Everyone has been bloodied.
Yeah. It was a pretty emotional episode. I know in the real time, Drew was just devastated. Very,
as he should be.
Yeah, very difficult elimination. he gets to jump, thankfully. I guess it could hinder him, could help him, jumping right into Redemption Island where you have that emotion of like, I can't believe this just happened to me. Especially emotional for the viewer from the dedication standpoint. I really, really like the dedication to Drew's son, Ethan. I thought that that was really special, and big shout out to Casey for that. Super impactful, especially getting to know Drew and his journey with his family. But yeah, from becoming the donation contestant and opening up about stuff that has gone on in his family life to this dedication, very, very good story for Drew, and hope to see more from him, whether it be returning from redemption or whether it be in an all-star season or whether it be in other games. Just very happy with Drew this season. Drew Crew is fulfilled, but it's not finished. There's more work to do.
Is there anyone named Drew in the next season? Did you mess up and not?
There is an Andrew. There's an Andrew.
Okay. Well, that's half the battle.
He's mean.
He's mean.
Andrews are mean. Drews are nice.
And he knows when you get messed with when he sees bananas in the game.
The first thing I saw, I opened up that cast list. The first name on the list was Andrew. I said, okay, Drew Crew, we're all good. Yeah, Steven, anything else on this episode?
I think we got
in
all my
terms of
thoughts.
Content of the episode.
I think we're good, for at least my thoughts.
Oh, is this a teaser? Is this a spoiler to something I don't know about? Also, yes, hashtag Drew Crew. I love Drew. He grabbed my torch, so Andrew for season 8 better grab our torch.
It's such a bad blitz to grab a torch. Like I remember looking for Hannah's torch and it was already grabbed and gone. I was like, all right, I'll just take whatever torch is in front of me at this point.
Steven, you gotta shove people.
This is why I don't play basketball. I don't do well on the key.
You didn't do well with keys either. Okay, let's before we go any further, there is a video that Casey sent to me. Usually Steven gets the videos and I get to react to them. And I think Steven doesn't watch them beforehand, but this week I watched beforehand because Casey wanted Steven's reaction on camera. But we have a video of a bit of it could be considered a preview. I'd consider it like a transition video into what we have coming up for Bloomington. So let me share my screen. All right, and Steven is going to loudly interject if the audio isn't working.
So I'm actually like really excited to be merged and like hang out with you, and hang out with May and hang out with Taylor, because it feels like a miss that we've not got time together.
Yeah, and it's like 7 eliminations. Like that is nuts.
We were expecting it so much sooner.
Yeah.
And that only one person would come back, not two.
Yeah, I was like, oh, final 10. Oh, merge, cute. No, one more job.
All right, I feel really. I feel good.
I'm gonna put out my feelers and then like reconnect.
I can tell that you're good.
Yeah, there's sound. I'm not hearing anything right now. The sound kind of like if there's music or whatnot, it kind of stopped after Joelle and Maggie kind of walked off.
Interesting. I don't know how to fix that. Let me go back. I don't know how to fix it.
I mean, I can kind of very softly hear it, I think. You want to give me your best David Attenborough narration of survivors in their natural environment while we're watching this?
I guess I could sing it.
I'd be impressed. Oh.
We'll upload this video to the Surviving Bloomington page and the YouTube after. Because there's still music playing right now. We'll upload it. It'll be fine. Casey, this is probably my fault.
I do love a good sprinting competition. Okay, if Eric does not have an outfit for being in the merge tribe and it's just a purple tank top, I'm sad. That's
he needs to be dressed as the purple Teletubby or as Barney.
All horrifying for him in many different ways, but it would have been amazing to see that happen.
I'm guaranteeing you this is the fault of my laptop's audio because this laptop is a menace when it comes to audio.
All right, so I have the YouTube link if we want to.
We can try it. Yeah, yours works better, but let's see if it'll.
I mean, let it be known, I'm still like 1 for 2 of like actually getting the audio right the first time. But if you want to just pause and let me,
let's just go to Steven. We love Steven's audio.
We love my YouTube. Let's see.
But Steven, did you have any thoughts on what you've seen and heard?
2 people coming back. All right, so like that we've seen precedent. So like in Surviving Bloomington All Stars, 2 people came back, 1 through a challenge, 1 through a vote. Our season, only 1 came back, but still someone got to be put on jury. So like I'm intrigued because that definitely affects what will happen at the merge, especially with 2 people coming back kind of on the same side. All right. So share a screen.
I have the YouTube video as well, but the audio, when I tested it, did not work as well as my media player. So I'm kind of surprised. But again, probably my fault. My bad.
Waiting for the load. All right. Add the stage. No. Oh. All right.
There we go.
Weird angle for it, but whatever. I don't know who messed with these settings. Shall we?
I'm actually like really excited to be merged and like hang out with you.
Yeah.
And hang out with May and hang out with Taylor.
Yeah.
Because
We're gonna have
feels
a good
like
time.
a miss that we've not gotten time together
at all. Yeah. And it's like 11 eliminations. Like that is nuts. Like
we were expecting it so much sooner.
Yeah.
And that only 1 person would come back, not 2.
Yeah. I was like, oh, final 10. Oh, merge, cute. Nope. 1 more challenge.
Thanks,
and I'm like, oh, okay, cool.
All right. I feel really
Yeah.
I feel good.
Yeah. I'm gonna put out my feelers
yeah.
and then we'll like reconnect. But
No.
I feel really good.
I can tell that you're good people.
I try. Yeah. That anxiety guy that was like on the wall. He's gone.
Rip.
Fascinating podcast. Also, like, I can't hear the music.
Really? I can hear it.
I also now can't hear Steven. But it may just be me.
I'm in the comments.
Nothing.
Nice out of my laptop.
Not even Steven's voice. Oh, okay. Rachel can hear it. That's all that matters.
All right, Zach. So I have some news for you. You will be receiving a safety key courtesy of Maggie.
That's why I put 4 on your fucking name, girl. Thank you. Yeah, you know, if I get the opportunity to come back in this game, like, it seems like Blue is pretty strong, but I might roll my dice with them. You know, we still have this challenge. 2 people are coming back in, and it's a wide open game. But I'm not done playing yet, and this is like a little nice piece of confidence. Thank you.
How?
Oh gosh, there we go.
Hello.
Hello again.
I still can't hear you. I'm gonna leave and come back.
All right. Well, the audience can hear me, and that's who that matters, not Drew. Surprises and takeaways while we wait for Drew to return to the realm of the podcast. 2 people coming back. It's a lot of unknown that's going to shake things up depending on how that works. It is the fact that safety keys are being sent to players in redemption as well. I think is really fascinating. So there's a little kind of both ways going on there. I couldn't tell if that first immunity challenge was team or not. So I wasn't quite sure what was going on in the first immunity challenge. I assume it's individual immunity, but it could not be. And then Eric not having a wild purple outfit just crushed
That
me.
you see.
That I see. I mean, he did cheat and take it off sometimes, at least part of the way when he was in the clown costume, and it was terrible. The actually do athletic activity in.
Breaking news: Steven has called Eric a cheater.
I think one can say he adhered to the letter of the stipulations he put into play, but did he fully adhere to the suffering of the clown suit in that stipulation? Only he can decide that.
Yeah, this is gonna be a really fun merge. Love that we're doing a dedication to Boogie again. And yes, surprise, or maybe not, we are doing 2 Redemption Island returnees. Steven, any insights into your read of who may be coming back?
No insights.
Well,
no
you just told me an hour ago, 30
I
minutes
mean,
ago,
okay.
that you didn't think it was going to be Drew, Zach, or Allison. So I assumed you had stronger opinions.
So the people who got send-offs, I feel like the last 4 people eliminated, Francis, Trace, Zach, and Drew, all got really... Oh, is that all?
Allison?
Why is your Redemption Island list wrong?
Steven, I'm not responsible for my actions.
I'm looking at like his spreadsheet right now. So
oh yeah, wow. Yeah, I don't know what I was on.
I was looking at this like I was like, what's going on here? All right, so I think the people likely come back are people who were limited earlier into this game, not the most recent players.
Okay. Hold on. Sorry,
watch it be like Zach and Drew return to us after the big emotional send-offs. Like, I was just like, what do I know? Nothing.
Is that correct now? I think it's correct now.
Rachel's like, that was winner's edit right there for Zach. So
I am all over the place this episode. I'm being messy. I have a lot of social energy today, so I'm being extra messy. Steven, I think my spreadsheet is correct now.
Okay. Yeah, so I think it's more likely to be an earlier player than not. I think as the resident Gibble stands, we wanted to see him return. So
actually, it's still not right. I still have somehow messed it up. But it's fine.
Things you can do post.
I'm a giblet through and through.
There we go. That was the term, giblet.
Okay, now it's close to correct.
Somehow I walked into the merge, at least so far, with the majority of my draft team intact. Now that is wild.
Yeah, let's talk about the draft. We should do a short little like 30-minute, 45-minute that will probably turn into an hour update with me, you, Lauren, and Rachel.
We have all summer. Why not?
Yeah, we do have all summer. Well, we don't know the exact time frame, but we have summer theoretically. But yeah, Rachel still has 3 people remaining on her draft. Lauren just has May. Steven has 4 players, and I am holding strong with Taylor.
Hey, you know, one of it, like I could have all 6 players if Danny.
Rachel hates everyone who she didn't list. So sorry if you're not Allison, Danny, Carlos, Zach, or Francis.
No, she likes Francis. Francis was on the list.
Mackenzie is pressed. Let me tell you something about Mackenzie Berg. Here's some tea into her. She prefers to binge all of her TV shows in one sitting. For example, The Devil's Plan. Season 2 is currently releasing episodes. She will not watch until every episode is out. But for her to be on this podcast, I made her watch the pre-merge of Bloomington, and she's not happy with me because now she has to wait week by week to watch all the other episodes. And now she has to wait months. And honestly, it's on my fault, and I love my power in that.
I mean, to be fair, like I do this with people in books where I'm very careful not to recommend people series that are incomplete.
She thought I was going to clock her, but in reality, I was correct.
Yeah,
Rachel
points out this is a classic Drew villain move, and she is.
Listen, right. Today is an I'm being unhinged day. It is what it is. Steven, do you have any gifts for us?
I have 4 gifts for your viewing pleasure.
Good. I always avoid looking at these in the chat because I don't want to be spoiled. Oh, I need to figure out my Bloomy points at some point. I have a short list. There's so many things that we need to do this podcast.
I don't know why this is taking so long to load. I don't know who messed with all the settings on here. It wasn't me, I swear. Maybe
it's because 2 of us are in the studio. I don't know.
I don't know. Oh, no, it came and I deleted it. All right. Say hello to my lovely background. Thank you, Trinity University.
Yes, thank you for paying Steven's bills. We appreciate you.
I like not starving. So this first gift is Maggie's big reaction when she wins immunity. And, you know, her tribe, specifically Brittany in this case, are running to her immediately to, like, kind of celebrate and, yes, just really celebrate with her.
This is very sweet.
I was tempted to pick the moment where, like, everyone's rallied around here. But the problem is, again, Eric isn't really hugging. He's more, like, furiously talking. And so, it felt like it wasn't, like, it felt like it was not the vibe I was looking for because it's just Eric's like, I have 5 seconds to say what I need to say right now.
Yeah, he and I have that in common. It's like, okay, we can deal with the emotion in like 20 seconds. I just need to get the info out first. This is very sweet. I love that. Oh my gosh.
This is like a B-roll footage of May before confessional that, like, I don't know, it made me laugh. It's like, if I'm gonna be voted out, I at least will look cute as she preps.
Very fun. And May, based on how the other team's talking about you, may be sooner rather than later, unless we can pull something out. But yeah, this is very fun.
And then, you know, it's always fun to see an advantage go through, and so we get a little bit of Eric celebrating with some people unhappily clapping when he pulls safety.
Savannah is killing me.
We can like, hi Casey.
I cannot with Savannah. She's so mad. May's like, okay, props to you, Mama, knowing she threw a vote on Drew, but everybody else is not.
Yeah. Speaking of May, May is winning for gifts this week, the most important runoff. So when the votes are being read, and in case like one vote left, and the next person voted out, Surviving Bloomington, May gives like this very big reaction. I was like, oh, maybe she didn't know about it. Then later in the episode, like, oh no, she did know about it. In fact, everyone knew about it except for Drew and apparently Eric. And May is sitting in the front, and so the only people who are seeing this is really KC and you and I, the viewers, right? And so like all this expression here is just purely for us, Not for anyone in the game that I can tell, because it's no surprise to anyone at all in the game.
Yeah, ladies and gentlemen, introducing Margot Robbie, because the acting is crazy. So in the real time when the vote was cast, I was in the voting booth. It was like me, Devontae, Ethan, Casey, maybe a couple of other people behind the camera. Nobody else knew. So when that last vote came up, everybody on production, sort of in the audience, quote unquote, behind the camera, fully gagged, did not at all believe it was May. She is an actress through and through. Yeah, exactly. Did not know May was an actress. She acted her butt off. Joel looked very shady, but I think that's because he was nervous. Hi, Zach.
Hey, Zach.
But yeah, like, that's crazy. She really played it off well. And who for? I don't know. I'm assuming
for us, for our benefits.
I'm assuming for Drew, in case he were to come. Redemption. Oh, okay. Bye, Steven.
Sorry. It's like not. Sorry.
But yeah, very good for May. Very great acting. Steven, let's talk about some bloomy points. There are two of us, which means special rules are in effect. We get to give out 9 points each. Do you have any thoughts on how you want to split yours up?
I think, again, I'll do 1 3, 2 2s, 2 1s.
Okay, I can match you on that, I believe. I can match your freak, Steven.
Thank you. You know, again, like, where would I be without you, Drew? All right, so I'll start at my 3 because I'm most confident with that, and then from there we freestyle.
Okay.
I'm gonna give my 3 to May.
Okay.
You know, props to May for being the one to take the risk to cast a lone vote, to knock out someone who she wasn't as tightly aligned with, do so with the blessing of her allies, and really cement herself in this group of 4. I think, I think this was the move of the episode right here, and her acting skills to boot. Who knew?
Rachel, you can give out your own points when you're on here. I agree with you. However, I'm just gonna give May 2 points. May's getting one of my 2s. I think May made a good move. She's setting herself up well strategically. I'm just a little bit worried about her regarding perception from the other tribe. And that's why I can't give her 3. I think even if the blue tribe discussion about her was not there, I would have probably given her the 3. But I think I'm going to give my 3 to Eric. You talked about move of the episode being May. I think Eric also has arguably the move of the episode with not only getting keys from the other tribe, but also getting one from Drew, who he's actively playing against. Mind you, they're on opposite sides.
And granted, I don't think Drew. I think if you look at people who Eric wants to go home, Drew is very low on the list.
Does not matter. They're on opposite sides. Drew voted for Eric and gave him a key in the same round. Like, you can't tell me that's not something. Also, Eric, going from 1 to 4 keys within a single round is crazy, and hitting it is great. Clearly, Eric is still connected to the blue people. He has that connection, and that's why I'm giving Eric 3 points. Plus, I just am enjoying Eric this season. So, Eric is getting my 3. May's getting 2.
Yeah, I'm gonna. For me, Eric is getting 2 points. I think this is not any fault of Eric's, but I think Eric's path and trajectory has been very limited to what he can do, and I think he's made the most of that to survive and get through. And I think his panic at the last challenge really should lay to rest any concerns that, has Eric flipped against us? Because I think had Eric truly flipped against them, he would not have been harvesting keys like that. But who knows? Maybe he would have.
Yeah, I think Eric made good strides this round. Although it remains clear he's on the bottom of his current tribe, this round established for him that he still has very strong relationships with the opposite tribe. And he was able to take out an enemy. I don't think Drew was like Eric's biggest adversary by any means, but it's like someone on the other side. It's like when you're playing the card game War, a 3 beats a 2. It's not the highest card, but a 3 beats a 2.
I like how this is the metaphor you pull war. But
Steven, I'm telling you, today of all days, I'm just mentally unhinged. I don't know what's in the air. I don't know if it's because for some reason it's 50 degrees in North Carolina today. I'm just unhinged.
Do you want 20 of my degrees?
That's fine, because usually at this time of year it's like 85, 90 degrees in North Carolina. But today we're sitting comfortably at 52 for some reason.
Global warming.
I don't want to think about that. Steven, who else are you giving 2 points to?
Oh, yeah, I really came in prep for a 3-2-1, not a 3-2-2.
I did too. I didn't think about it until 5 minutes ago. So
I think I'm going to give 2 points to Taylor. I really liked her navigation this episode and the conversations she was having with who was getting and funneling information. I thought that was well done.
I agree with you. I also have written down that Taylor's getting the other 2 from me. I think Taylor has mapped out what she wants to do. She has her relationships mapped out. She's thinking about things. She's set up well. She hasn't been targeted. Taylor's thriving. She's playing a really good under the radar game.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to give my first 1 point to Maggie.
Same.
For winning the puzzle. She's set up decently. Allison, I'm so tired of having to fight you people. It's crazy. I need you people to understand that because I have the loudest voice, I'm correct. It's not that difficult. We need to start pulling people back on so I don't have to pull this tomfoolery with points. But yeah, I'm gonna give one to Maggie. I think she ate the puzzle. She's set up relatively well because she's fine on blue, but also she has connections with red, specifically with Savannah. And I just think Maggie's having a good time. And I'm having a good time with Maggie.
The tears may say otherwise, but yes, I think.
No. Sorry. She's having a good time as far as like game progression, not a good time emotionally.
From the opposite of the emotional spectrum, I'm going to give my last point to Mariah. For, again, it's a calm episode for Blue. But she finds another piece of parchment. I think she's we talk a lot about her place in the tribe and feeling very confident about her, and I think we'll see plenty from her here that come. So I don't know. They're like nothing against other 4, but I'd like to give my last point to her.
Yeah, I'm gonna give one to Savannah. My last to Savannah. We hear that she has this thing with May, this final 2 with May. She voted correctly, I guess. Correctly. She was looped in on the plan to oust Drew as a backup. She voted correctly for Eric. We've seen her challenge prowess. I mean, she's won an individual immunity. I just think Savannah is set up well on the red side of things to not be like an immediate, like, oh, we're at merge, we need to gun for Savannah now. Yeah. Especially considering other people on red have had their names thrown out.
Yep.
That's what I'm looking at. Yeah, that's our episode. Steven, we may not speak about Bloomington in terms of new content for a few months. Any other thoughts on the first half or more of the season?
I am excited to see how the chips fall. I'm excited to see who comes back and how people work around that. It'll be interesting to see, our season, Jamie got taken out pretty quickly. And granted, it was a double tribal and it was a wild time, and like naturally, Jamie, I don't think would have gone out.
It was a triple tribal. I think it was a triple tribal. That was the one where one person from each team won immunity.
I was talking about the merge vote, not the pre-merge vote. Where Jamie was at.
Okay.
Yeah, I was just like, but there was only 2 votes.
Rachel, I wasn't confused. There were 2 Jamie boots.
And so I'll be curious to see how someone navigates it, and how, being a redemption player, it can affect someone's ability to win the game, and how other players perceive that. That will be very interesting to see.
Yeah, I think depending on who comes back, it could really shape up a lot of things. I mean, if we immediately turn around to having, Drew and Eleanor come back, it's like,
It's a
okay,
reset.
sides are pretty set. But if we have people like Gibble and Carlos come back, it's like, well, where do we stand? Are they blue, or what's going on there?
I was going to say Gibble and Ryan, right?
Gibble and Ryan. That's an interesting combo. I forgot Ryan was an option.
See, Drew, I don't need to throw a shade. You throw it for me.
Yeah, it's fine. It's fine. Everybody's fine. I love this community. Yeah, but until then, we're gonna try and keep you updated with some off-season stuff. Since discussing this podcast, yeah, I hate Ryan for sure. Ryan, if you're watching, it's on site. You and 12 other people, apparently, it's on site with. But yeah, I think we're gonna try and maybe do like a draft regathering. Maybe I'll put together some sort of game where you guys can exchange draft picks or something for a price. I don't know. We'll see. I'll figure something out, but we'll do a draft podcast at some point. Also, look for more off-season content in the Bloomington community specifically. I know at some point soon, myself, Mackenzie, and Dallas are going to be doing a Super Mario Party Survivor Brant Steal. Gonna also try and do some more community stuff. I know Steven has been doing the Survivor 48 stuff, and I assume that will resume in the fall with Survivor 49. Perhaps a season 50 cast assessment or something from Steven, since the season 50 cast will be announced tomorrow.
Not enough season 49 players, clearly.
Right. Well, there are 2 players from 49 on 50, so
we just need 20 more.
It is what it is. But until then, make sure everybody subscribes to Surviving Bloomington on all the socials: Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, live reality games, of course, on YouTube, Twitch, Facebook, Twitter, question mark.
We have a Twitter. Have I used it? No, but we have a Twitter.
Yeah, there's a Twitter somewhere that exists. I'm sure it's Elon Musk's number one thing that he watches on Twitter is the live reality games page. And yeah, LRG casting on Instagram and Facebook. There are lots of games that are casting. I think LRG season starts pretty soon.
It's started.
Yeah, for a lot of games. I know a lot of games have filmed within the past 2 weeks, so look forward to that. And then Surviving Bloomington 8 films this August, late July, early August. So make sure you go to the Surviving Bloomington website to check out the season 8 cast, donate to the contestants who you want to have advantages. We saw this season Eric and Drew put pretty good use to their advantages, so support who you want to see get them for next season.
And I've certainly seen some people use similar tactics that Eric did. I think he's inspired some people.
Yep. Steven, anything else you have going on in the LRG community?
Startup Pennsylvania is wrapping up, so I'm looking forward to the finale and maybe talking to 1 or 2 of the players, especially maybe a certain Bloomington alum who played that season. Reelfoot, your favorite game, is premiering its season. It's going to start filming its season, I think, Saturday. So I'm hoping to nab production, do a cast assessment with them, and then the true gauntlet is how much exit interviews do I do of those players? We'll see how that goes, because that is always a
limit your exit interviews to an hour each.
I try for 2. If I can do 2, I am a much saner person. When I hit 3, I start losing my mind.
Yeah, that's very valid. Once merge resumes of Bloomington, I'm gonna hopefully start doing some deep dives, exit interviews, whatever,
Please.
players. We'll see how that goes. It depends on what people want to do, but yeah. I know this podcast in particular, I've been a little unhinged, but I love the Bloomington community. All of you are great, including everybody who I've threatened to fight. But yeah, Stephen, anything else before we head out for the evening and for the first half of the season?
It's summer break. I hope everyone has good plans this summer, and I know Drew, you and I will keep busy.
Oh, we will definitely keep busy. Keep on the lookout for some more off-season content from either me, Steven, or both of us. And yeah, we will see you when we see you. There's no date to be determined. Peace out, everybody.